Welcome back to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. It's one of your hosts, Morgan Kline, and today we're talking about the holiday survival guide. So, juggling family, career, and relationships. You know, I always get a little bit stressed out over the holidays, but I've learned over time that it doesn't need to look perfect, right? The holidays can look however I want them to. And in the world that we live in, where social media is on an all-time high, we're constantly seeing all the different things that families are doing for the holidays. And it can very, very, very quickly make you feel like you are not doing enough. So listen, I want to talk a little bit about, managing your stress during the holidays, prioritizing your self-care, and then prioritizing your family time. So managing stress, okay? It's the end of the year. There's obviously probably a lot going on, not just at, your personal life, but also in your work life. Your company may be trying to close the year strong and finish out different priorities. And then, of course, if you've got kids, there's lots of school activities, lots to do before winter break. And then, personally, it's a time where lots of parties start popping up and lots of social gatherings. And it may be a time where you start to deprioritize yourself, and that is going to increase your stress level, right? If you cannot keep on that normal routine, taking care of yourself, prioritizing yourself, then it can bring a lot of stress. So I just want to address that and obviously acknowledge that this is a busy season that we're coming into, but it doesn't always have to be stressful. So for me, I try to really remind myself that the holiday spirit is exactly what I want to make of it. And that really goes for my family and my children. But, I do take December off of traveling for work because it is important for me to be home a little bit more, to keep myself in a routine, because I have holiday parties. I have different things going on. And, the last thing that I want to happen is that I get stressed out, because let's be honest, as moms, as women, our stress permeates to everybody around us. And for me, the most important thing is not being stressed out when I'm in my home. Or at work, right? Because if I'm stressed at work and I'm stressed at home, that means my kids are stressed, and that means my employees are stressed. And that is the last thing I want. So think about right now, when you're stressed out, who is it impacting in your life? Is it impacting your kids? Is it impacting your spouse? Is it impacting, your family or your friends? And is that really what you want, right? Is that really how you want to be spending the holidays, a time where it's supposed to be merry and bright and thankful, right? So I want you to just kind of check yourself right now and think about that. And as I'm talking, think about that person that maybe is getting impacted when you are stressed out. So for me, I personally am able to manage stress by just setting the right expectations. So I don't really care about what other people are doing. I think it's great that a lot of influencers share, gifts and gift guides and all the things and their holiday traditions. I think that's really, really special for them, and they can obviously manage that. But for me, quality time is more important than stressful time. So stressing myself out over Thanksgiving meals or how many gifts my kids are getting or different, experiences that I'm giving or not giving my children. I really have to erase all of that noise around me and focus on what do I care most about and what's manageable for me. That's the biggest thing. What is manageable for me? Because we all go through different seasons where, maybe work is a little bit crazier, or maybe just mentally you don't have that capacity. This year has been a tough year for me on a personal level. And there's just a lot of mental capacity that is tired right now. And so I don't want to set myself up for failure and try to plan all these extravagant events for my family if it doesn't even bring the joy that it should bring. So set the right expectations. Really check, how are you doing right now? Because if I'm stressed out during all this, who is impacted, right? Like I said in the beginning. So that is how I would first and foremost start the holiday season, is what are my expectations? And hey, if you need to ask some people around you, hey, what are your expectations for me or for this holiday season? Let's get on the same page. That's a conversation that Devin and I will have often of, what are we doing in the month of December? Are we traveling? Like, I personally am not traveling, because I want to be home with my family and really kind of slow myself down and just prioritize on keeping things moving at work, but not adding more to my plate, because that's what stresses me out. Number 2, prioritizing self-care and well-being. So that is so, so important. And that is a direct result of how you're able to manage your stress too, right? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing the things that allow you to manage stress? For me, that's working out. And sometimes when travel gets high, work gets high, like my self-care goes down. So I lean into that because I know it's going to happen. November, December are busy. Why don't I create, more accountability towards myself to really get into the gym? And for me, that's what manages my stress the most, is getting into the gym, getting my 45 minutes of burn boot camp, and just focusing on drowning out the noise for that little time of the day, moving my body. And that's what makes me feel good. What is that for you? Is that making sure that you're still working out, or maybe it's taking time to read a book or go for a walk, or whatever it means to you? This is not a time to neglect it, because this is a stressful time. And listen, it can be stressful for some of us for so many different reasons. Maybe it brings back some negative emotions. Maybe it reinforces some grief that you have, or some sadness that you have in your life. Holidays can seem to be really great, but they can be really hard for a lot of you. And I want to acknowledge that. And so make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're still doing the things that bring you joy, and not having that expectation that you need to be a certain way during the holiday season. And last but not least, prioritizing your family. Like I said, I don't travel in December because I want to be able to go to all the kids' different events at school. And I really want to just take any extra time that I have to recharge myself, rejuvenate myself, because once January hits, it's the busiest time in fitness industry, right? And that does not slow down even at the headquarter level. So it's important that I prepare myself to kick off the new year super productive, high energy, taking care of my health, taking care of my mental health. And so for me, that looks like recharging in the month of December, and even a little bit into November. So I really take the holiday season as a recharge and a rest time for me, which means I don't overschedule myself. I only say yes to the things that really matter to me, and I only do things that is going to bring my kids joy, and it means spending time together, because it's been a busy summer, it's been a busy fall, and I'm sure that you guys feel the same way. So I kind of try to do less things during the holiday season so I can spend more of that fun time at home with the kids. So what do you need to do, guys? It is holiday season is upon us. What do you need to remind yourself of? Don't stress yourself out over the gifts and the crafts and the things that you need to bake for the kids. The most important things our kids need for us and our family and our friends is us. They just need us, our time, our happiness, our intentionality. They don't need all the things around, us that we think we need to be giving them. So just remember that this holiday season. I wish you all a happy holiday season, and we'll talk to you soon. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.